right, 7:33 breakfast with Bryan Bill. Delighted to have our good pal and a guy who's, you talk about popular these days. And he's always been popular with us, manager of the Blue Jays, John Gibbons. Hi, Gibby.
Mumbles, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about some, about some baseball. But a longtime colleague of mine and great friend, Stephen Brunt, is a tremendously keen fly fisherman amongst his very many other interests. I know he came down to San Antonio to do an interview with you, which they filmed. But apparently, you and him got a few minutes to yourself, and you went out and did some fishing yesterday.
Oh yeah, we had a blast. We went out there on Tampa Bay. Steven's got a friend down here that is a fishing guide, so he took us out around the bays, and it was a lot of fun. Hey, Brunson, yeah, he's an accomplished fisherman. He's a big fly fisherman, and I was just kind of in the background doing my thing with a little spinning rod, but he's pretty serious, and he dresses the part. He does everything. So we had a great time. He's such a good guy, old Brunt.
And he wouldn't mind having a cold beer with you should there be one aboard. I'm sure of that.
Well, that might have been the only thing we were catching.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Listen, Gibby, I want to ask you this question off the top, and Billy Hayes, my partner, has got a bunch for you as well. But I want to ask you, so what are you going to do, Coach, for excitement now? When you've got Eddie Encarnacion and Reyes and the boys coming back after winning a world championship, I can't see you taking them out and having them working on stealing bases or bunting or the hit and run. I mean, you're going to have to come up with something. These guys are on such a high coming back.
I know, and I just hope they bring some of that magic back with them, to be honest with you. But, Mumbles, what we'll do is, they're in good shape. They've been playing that very intense competitive ball in that tournament, so we're just kind of low key with them. I'm sure they'll be back probably tomorrow. We got a home game like on Friday. We'll play them a few innings in that game, and then we have back-to-back road games, and they won't go on those trips, and we'll ease them back in. And then at the beginning of next week, we'll have everybody together, and we'll get them all on the field out there, and it'll be the first time we've looked at it all together, and I know the fans sure will be excited about it because we sure are.
Gibby, what kind of impact has that had on camp and not having those guys around, and not just the guys who won it, but all the guys who left for teams in the WBC?
Well, it just kind of leaves us a little bit incomplete. Aaron Seaby and Dickey were gone too before they got knocked out, and then so this will be the first time we really will put them all on the field, and they can play most of the game. It'll just give us a good preview of what it really looks like. We've talked about it all winter, and in spurts before they left for the WBC, we saw each and every guy playing. But this will be the time. Hey, this is a team. Get excited about it, and we'll let them play. All play a few games together before we hit the road to Philly and then back home for our opener.
Go ahead. I was going to say Alex Anthopoulos. Obviously, he's done no wrong here for a long time, Gibby, and I know that you think the world of him and he of you. And part of the deal, he in bringing you into this is your personality. You do so well with kind of just rolling with it. But as I was joking with you earlier on, I mean, have you ever had the amount of intense coverage and interview requests and hanging on every word as you've had this year? And, is it getting a little wearing? Are you ready to get up here? I mean, how are you handling it?
Well, Mumbles, I've never been exposed like this, and that's not really my forte. You guys all know how they call you Mumbles. I'm actually more of a mumbler than you are. So, it's something new to me. It's been nonstop, and I've really enjoyed it. To get a chance to get on your show is big for me because you've been so good to me. But it can be overwhelming at times. What happens a lot is you get down here, especially, you get guys that they're not here at the beginning of the spring. I'm talking about reporters and stuff.
Yeah.
They show up late, and so we've been answering basically the same questions all winter, and then all through spring training, and so a lot of times I'm like a broken record, So, but it's good. We're promoting the team. But, the real story is what these guys can do on the field, and we'll let that speak for itself.
Yeah. Did you look around and see what's happening to other teams? Like Teixeira, for instance, is gone. Apparently he's saying now that the injury's worse. Does that have much impact on how you're viewing things, or are you just pretty much looking at your own thing and letting them deal with what they have to deal with?
Well, there's no question that those big blows to the Yankees. And we were playing one of our first or second spring training games down here, and one of our pitchers, Hap, hit Granderson and broke his forearm. So I mean, you feel bad about that. I mean, those things happen in the game, and then of course Teixeira. So those have been a couple big knocks against the Yanks. But we don't get the way we look at it. We just got to take care of our own business in our own team on the field, and we feel so good going in this. We're very strong top to bottom in pretty much every phase of the game. So. I know that hurts the Yankees, but they're still a pretty solid team. They're going to run out there, but we're excited. We think it's the best. It's the best division in baseball, top to bottom. So it's not going to be easy. But this is the first time in a long time this organization, I think, really feels we got a legitimate shot at this thing this year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as you know, expectations are pretty high, which is great. That's exactly what you want. What's been the biggest surprise to you? I mean, we talked to you before we actually got to camp. Now you're almost through it. Has there been anything that you went, wow, I didn't realize this guy was that, or you know what I'm saying? Are there any surprises?
No, not really. Because these guys, they're known commodities. They've most of the guys we're throwing out there are established and big leaguers that have had some great careers and some all-star type players and. But when you watch, early on when you watch a guy like Reyes move around, he's a special player. And I'd seen Batista briefly when I was in Kansas City from the other dugout. But to watch him every day and see his talent level and what he's capable of doing up close is that definitely gets your attention. So every day we throw out a good starting pitcher in these spring training games and. It gets you excited because that's the one area in baseball that every team's looking for, that the depth in their pitching staff, and we can throw 5 guys out there every night that give us a chance to win. So that's the key thing.
Gibby, not only is today but tomorrow is an off day. It's kind of unheard of in spring training. What do you do with yourself? And are the guys by the labor agreement actually off, or are they still working out down there? What happens?
No, well, with the WBC, they schedule all these off days, and actually it's been good, I think, because it's been so long. And these guys go hard all week, and you give them a day off here and there, and it refreshes them. But we give them the complete day off. Heck, the coaching staff needs one too. So
yeah, well, you went fishing the other day. You going to get a game of golf in, or did you got tons to do that behind the scenes?
Yeah, well, if I was a little better golfer, I might say yes, but I'm not that good. So, Mumbles, I'll just usually come into the park, maybe get a little workout in, just kind of, go over some baseball stuff, info, and check with the trainers and those kind of things. But it's good. It's always good to get away from this game too, because it's such a mental grind. Even this time of year when games don't mean anything, and but you're still trying to. You still have things to worry about if somebody's banged up, like say Brett Laurie and things like that. That's still in the back of our minds.
Yep.
Do you get tired? I know you've sort of already answered this to some extent. You get tired of the same questions, and let's face it, you got that big media machine watching you now. But I'm going to have to ask you one of them, and that is the Ricky Romero situation. You mentioned Hap as well. I know you've been pretty steadfast in Ricky's the number 5 guy, and I don't get the sense that you're real concerned what you've seen out of him yet, but are you seeing any progress?
Yes, and, he's his last 3 starts, the first 2 were pretty good, and his last one, his first inning we were playing up there in Lakeland against Detroit, and he really struggled the first inning throwing strikes. But then the next couple innings he was much better. But what he and Pete Walker, our pitching coach, got together the other day, and there's some mechanical adjustments they're going to try to make. Ricky was really throwing across his body. This way, they're going to make some adjustments to get him in a straighter line towards home plate, and we think that'll do wonders for him. So his next start, he's going to throw in the minor leagues. And he's really going to work on that. The little away from the spotlight here, you can go down to the minor leagues and he can throw as many pitches as he wants, and you can cut off those innings down there, and if he gets to a certain limit, that way he gets his 4 or 5 innings in, and this gives him a chance too to really just basically concentrate on his mechanics instead of necessarily the results. Because Ricky's very self-conscious, and there's not a person in the clubhouse that wants to perform better than him. And he's coming off that tough year, and he's taking a lot of heat for it. And so this gives him a chance. We'll get him over there in the minor leagues and let him do his thing. And but he's going to be a great pitcher for us for the next few years here in Toronto.
Oh, I'm sure of that. I'm curious though, at this level, and look, we're talking about pros. Ricky's been in the league now several years. How tough is it to change something like that? A tweak sounds like it's not that big, but he got there doing it a certain way. How tough is it to change?
Well, this what we're talking about is very, very small. I mean, a lot of it comes from Pete and Ricky reviewing some of his tapes from a couple years ago when he's one of the best in the game.
Right.
So it's not something he hasn't ever done before. He just needs to get back to where he was. And all it is, it's basically where he lands, where his stride foot's going. Kind of free him up and make his mechanics a little more sounder. Is that a word, sounder?
Yeah, well,
it is now.
It's one of yours, that's for sure. It's part of the lexicon. Listen, Pele, just a couple more things. Nothing to do with baseball as far as the Jays are concerned. You've asked it all before. Thanks for answering it again. But you run into your buddy coming up in on the weekend or maybe on Friday, Butter and the Red Sox. Have you come across Butter yet this spring?
Yeah, I've seen him twice, and it's great to see him.
Yeah.
He doesn't look as good as that Red Sox.
No, he does not.
Blue Jay uniform, but that's the way it goes. But he's, I know he misses a lot of things about this place. This organization, has been wonderful to him, and in return, he's given a lot back to this organization. But it's a new look. He's on the other side now. He's the competition. So, but it's always good to see, your old friends, and he's going to do wonders over there for Boston too, because he's, in my mind, still arguably the best coach that I've been around.
Well, and the same to you. I can tell you in an interview he did with us here, and I haven't had the heart to call him back ever since his Patriots got bounced out, because he may love baseball, but he loves them just as much. But he misses you as well, Gibby, and he thinks the world of you as well. Listen, March Madness is upon us right now, and of course, once they get down to now the thing gets underway, there's a lot of games being played down your part of the world, down in Arlington. Do you have a team in this?
Mamas, I'm not a big
not a hoops guy.
basketball fan. Especially at the college level, that's never been my thing. I love college football.
Right.
In the NBA, I like a little bit more because I've got the San Antonio Spurs down there, who's who every year one of the best teams. They're getting a little older, but they're one of the top teams. So I really don't follow that college basketball much.
What's your NFL team?
I'm a Cowboys, America's team.
Come on.
Oh, you're killing me.
Well, listen,
you
ever said anything else on the air, you'd have 9 million other interviews.
Oh, you could be Houston. The Texans are all right.
Yeah, that's true. They haven't got a bad team down there.
Oh, no, they're pretty good. If they put a few more Texans on both those teams, both might be even that much better.
Is there ever a chance? Didn't San Antonio have a World Football League team? Is there a chance they could get an NFL team?
No, you know what? The thing about San Antonio is it's one of the 10 largest population-wise cities in the U.S., but there's not a lot of big corporate money there. It's mainly a military town. There's 5 military bases down there. That's how I ended up there. My father was stationed down there, but so it's basically all military money. But you get a few big businesses, but not like in some of your other major cities, and I think that's what holds it back.
Well, Gibby, listen, we'll let you go. I just want to say this to you. It's 7:46 right now. At 7:02 this morning, you may not know this, but spring arrived, and we counted it down here. It's snowing outside. It's freezing. It's cold. I know that
you can't wait to get here.
I know. You can't wait to get there. We all can't wait to get down there. That's the way it goes. But everyone is looking for it. Gibby, Billy and I have been covering this since day one with the Blue Jays here, and we have to go back to the World Series day. You're not up here, but it's palpable right now, man. It is palpable. The Leafs look like they're going to make it into the playoffs this year, which will take a little bit of the edge off of you. So at least. You've got that going, but everyone is waiting. I will give you this last example. There's a couple who I've known for years on the walk that I do every day. We talk as we go by, but they told me they were coming down there. Specifically, they've never gone to spring training in their lives, and they went down to see the game yesterday. I got a phone call from them last night, and the guy and his wife are going to buy seasons tickets, and they've never had them before. You beat Houston 10-6. Oh, man, they've got you winning the World Series. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. You know what I mean, Gibby?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully, it turns back into a city of champions. The Leafs do well, and then the Blue Jays do well, and hopefully the Raptors turn it around the next few years, and Toronto's back on top where it belongs.
Gibby, thanks so much for doing this, mate. I know that you've really been doing a lot, and I'll give you a buzz sometime before the whole shebang gets underway, and I couldn't be happier for you.
Hey, my pleasure, guys.
Take care.